Hello everyone, and welcome to this session about what's new in the Sales Order Agent.
My name is Qasim Ikram, and I'm a senior software engineer working in the development of Sales Order Agent.
And my name is Dmitry, and I'm here to help Qasim to demonstrate some of these cool capabilities that we added to this story. Over the last several months, we've been doing a research with all of you, trying to understand what else can we add to the Sales Order Agent story and capabilities to make it much more useful for all of you. And you see this list of fantastic improvements and changes to the Sales Order Agent capabilities, which are now available based specifically on your feedback. So these are the features that we, Qasim and I, going to introduce in the next few minutes and hopefully get you excited and get you to use this Sales Order Agent to ease your daily life.
Thanks, Dmitry. So now let's look at some of these features in action. So right now I'm inside Business Central and I have the Role Center open up. And on the top right corner, you can already see the Sales Order Agent is already configured and activated. And we have one notification that requires our attention. So let's see what it is. So it looks like a new incoming email from our customer, Datum Corporation. And if you look at the email itself, it's basically a request for a sales quote. Within the email body, they are referencing to the attachment for the details of item that they would like to purchase, along with the other information that they would like it to be delivered in 2 weeks and the shipping address that it needs to be shipped. If I go further down, we can see all the attachments with this email as well. And while we are reviewing this email, the agent has already reviewed each and every attachment to identify which of the document is relevant, which of the document is not relevant, and which are the documents which are not supported. Over here, you can see we have the privacy and terms and condition documents, which are valid formats that the agent supports, but there's no relevant content inside these. So the agent will ignore these files when processing this request. And lastly, we have a purchase order attached with the email, which is categorized as reviewed, meaning it has some relevant information. If I open the purchase order, I can see a purchase order that was received by our customer, Datum Corporation. And within this purchase order, you can see a lot of items that they are willing to buy, which contains a lot of office furniture. They are asking for tables, chairs, stool, lamps, desk, and a lot of different office furniture in different quantities. So the agent has categorized this as a valid document, and it will be processed in combination with the email itself. So everything looks good within this email and the attachment. So let's confirm this request. And now the agent will be processing the email along with the attachment, only the relevant documents that were attached to the email. After analyzing the customer request, there is a user intervention on check item availability. And we can see one of the items tool in quantity 4 is not currently available. So let's go into this step and try to investigate further. This opens up the item availability page. This page can be used to see if any of the items are available for a particular customer, and we have a bunch of filters that you can apply to see if a particular item is available or not for a particular customer. So how I will probably use this page is to first apply the filter on the customer itself. This will basically set all the required filters specific to this customer. For example, it could be the location that this customer is based. So when the item availability is calculated, all the filters are considered. So as we saw from the message, they were looking for 4 stools. And as we know, these stools are currently not available. But as a business owner, we know we have some alternate items that could be used in place of stools. So I know those items are called chairs inside my system. And the 2 closest items are the Munich chair and the Berlin chair. As I can see, the Munich chair is currently out of stock. So this is not something I can replace the stool with. So what else I can do? There's also this Berlin chair, which is also very similar to the stool that the customer is asking for. So I will try to use this as an alternate item in place of the stool. So how I can do that? So I will go down to the bottom. You can see I already have a predefined suggestion which says I have made this item available, or I can give some custom instructions. So this is again a new feature that we have added where you can basically specify a custom instruction to the agent so you can guide if the agent is stuck or it needs your help. So what I will do over here is give this extra instruction which says use Berlin chair instead of stools, and I press confirm. Now the agent is proceeding with this custom instruction, and let's see what the agent will end up doing. Now the agent has basically processed the request, created a sales code, and it requires our attention for the outgoing email. Before going to the outgoing message itself, I would like to open the sales code itself. And you can see the requested delivery date that was specified inside the email body was considered and added to the document itself. The alternate shipping address was correctly identified by the agent and set inside the document itself. And it made all the changes to the lines itself. You can see the document was a bit extensive with 7 lines. And as we can see, the Berlin chair is there in place of stool with the right quantity. So everything looks as expected. So now I will go and review the outgoing messages. Over here, we can see the attachment itself. The email is very well structured with all the summary of the sales code itself. And if I go to the bottom, and there's one interesting thing that you will notice, there's this custom signature. This again is a new feature that we have introduced, which allow the end users to specify a custom signature. So that will be used whenever an email is generated by the agent. So you can use any custom signature based on your business communication. So everything looks perfect, and I will confirm this outgoing message. Before going further, I would like to show how exactly you can set this custom signature. So I will go to the agent setting itself, and I will go to the very last card. Over here, you can see we have this nice option where you can specify a custom signature, and I can click on edit signature, and it will pop up this rich text editor. Over here, you can either copy paste your existing signature that you already use for your business communication, or you can use this rich text editor to design the signature within the product itself. You can, of course, add all the links, the images as well. There is a limit of some characters, but in most cases, all the signatures will be able to fit inside this rich text editor. If I go back, you will now see there are even more configuration that you can choose from. One is to analyze the attachment. So we have given you the option to choose if you want to analyze any attachments that are coming with the email. The formats that we currently support is the PDF and the images. And you can also set the limit how many emails that needs to be processed per day. Right now, the default is 100. Any more emails will be processed the following day. So that's how the attachments and the custom signature looks like. I hope you find these features useful. That concludes our first demo. Back to you, Dimitri.
Fantastic capabilities. Thank you very much, Kasim. Recognition of document attachments is one of the top requests that we heard from you. But let me go and show you a few extra capabilities that we added to the Sales Order Agent. And I will also start from the setup page and navigate to the second card of this experience. One of the asks that we heard from you is that with some time, as we learn to trust the Sales Order Agent, we wanted to become much more autonomous. And here you can see some of the settings which help the agent to become more autonomous. Assume you're working with two categories of customers. Some of these are registered senders, the customers and contacts which are registered in your Business Central environment, or unregistered senders. So somebody out there who send an email with a request to you, but they're currently not specified and not found in your Business Central environment. Now you can set up the agent to either review the messages or proceed with processing these messages automatically for both categories of these senders. So let me open up this configuration and show you that there are 3 levels that you can choose from. So you can either Keep reviewing every single email message that comes from your registered senders. That's the default, safest option. You can also change the setting to review only the first message in the conversation, meaning that every follow-up on that same thread will be processed automatically by the agent. Or you can choose to trust the agent to pick up the message from your registered customer and start generating the response fully automatically without you having to review that input. So our general recommendation would be for you to maybe use the second or third option for your registered senders, the customers that you work with the most, and keep it to review all for all of your unregistered senders, because you do want to get a better control of these types of messages. Are they relevant or irrelevant for your business? Another option which I wanted to show you here is the new capability that we added to the agent based on your feedback as well. Ability to include items which we are capable to promise. This is one of the existing Business Central capabilities that many businesses rely on when they serve the quotes to their customers. Quite often, it may happen that the items that the customers request are not necessarily available on the date which they request these items on. However, the Business Central engine, the capable to promise feature, can calculate when we are capable to ship these items to the customers. So now this feature is also made known to the agent, and the agent will use it in action. So let's see how it works now. When I reconfigure this experience, I will update the configuration. The agent configuration now has changed, and I will wait patiently for the new email to arrive from one of my customers. And here it is. So the email from my trusted customer is now coming in, and I see that the agent picked it up and is now running with this task without me having to review this incoming message. So Kasim is a registered customer in my system, and based on my settings, the agent does not need my attention to review messages from Kasim. So it goes ahead and checking the content of the email, it extracts the details, and starts to generate either the response, reply with the item availability information, or the quote document. So let's give it a little bit of time to go through this request. All right, it looks like the message is ready for my review. So let's take a look at what the agent did in this period of time. Again, every single step is still listed in the Copilot pane for you to review every single step. Even though you instructed the agent not to bring your attention to these actions, you can still retrospectively review every single step of the agent. So I'm going back to review the message that Kasim sent to me. So here's the message from a Datum Corporation with a couple of attachments. And let's see what is asking here. So Kasim is asking that I would like to purchase the same items I ordered last month. This is an interesting request. And please see attached invoice details. So I'm curious to see what was attached to this request. And I see that the privacy policy is attached, which is great. So Kasim is very mindful of privacy, and his organization is at the top of the privacy requirements. But it is not relevant for the agent to create the quote. However, there appears to be a PDF attached. So let's open it up and see what's included here. Yes, this is the invoice included with this email that lists some of the items that this organization wants to ask. All right, perfect. So I don't need to do anything else because I can see that the agent already took action on this. So let me review the quote which was created by the agent. I open it up, and let's see. All of the details already populated. The items are added to the list. So, and here I see the shipment date. And what you might notice on these lines is that there are a couple of items which we are shipping on 17th of this month. And there is another item which is shipped 2 days later. So that's exactly the capability of the agent, which is using the capable to promise feature to calculate that shipment date. So the way, if you want to, you don't have to validate what agent does, but if you're super curious and you want to validate what's actually happening behind the scenes, you can do that as well. Let me quickly navigate to availability, item availability page. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to search for the Munich chair. There it is. And I see that it is indeed out of stock and not available on the current date. But when I engage this capability to calculate the possible earliest shipment date, you see the line is recalculated based on all of the logic and the setup which is configured in Business Central. And it does allow me to see on which date earliest we can ship this item. That's exactly the capability which the agent uses to identify this shipping date for the items which are not available on the specific date required by the customer. So fantastic work, lots of time saved for me having to try different options and configure this manually. So it looks like the agent did all the job for me. And what I'm going to do, I will just review the outgoing email. Again, it is composed beautifully, so there is a fantastic signature included by the agent in the end. There is a sales quote included as well, which I can review. It has all of the right items, and it's ready to be sent to the customer. All the job is done.
Yeah. So how we envision this sales order agent is to make it more autonomous going forward. So we have even more options or configuration for you to make the process even more autonomous. So let's go to the agent settings again. And I go to this particular card which says create sales document. Here you have a bunch of options throughout the process of the creation of sales code and order, at what point you will require a user to review. You can choose if you want to review when the code is created, or you can review when the confirmation for the sales code is being sent. Similarly, you can also review once the sales order is created. What we can do now is to uncheck this option of reviewing the sales code. What it will do is basically for any request that comes from a registered user and for the items that the user is requesting is available, it will go directly to the step of creating the sales order by not asking any reviews in between. So let's see this in action. So now I've unchecked this box and I will update the configuration. And now we are waiting for any future requests that we might receive from our customer. Here it is. We have received a new email from myself in this case, but from our customer. And now since there is no review for registered customers inside BC, and if the item is available, there will be no reviews. And we have unchecked the box which says we need a review for the sales code. The agent will follow all the steps, but it will not ask for any reviews until it will reach the sales order and will ask for confirmation then. So now the agent is done with this particular task and asks for my review. As you can see from the steps, the agent has performed each and every steps, but it didn't ask the user for the review. It did look for the item availability. It created the sales code and converted the code to the order. And the only confirmation that is required from our side is to review the outgoing message for the sales code created. But let's first review the incoming message itself. So it looks like a quite similar email that we just saw. It is a repeat order where the user is asking to purchase an item that it ordered last month. But what's interesting is the attachment this time is an image. Let's try to download this image and see how it looks like. As you can see, this image is yet another format of input as an attachment that the agent can process quite well. And over here, you can see all the 3 items that were mentioned inside this invoice. And it looks like a very standard invoice that you can take a picture from your mobile and attach to a particular email. And it looks like any standard invoice. And if I go back and review the order that was created, you can see all the 3 items from the invoice were added correctly. And since the order promising was turned on, you can see the right shipment date were also entered. And everything looks good when we review the outgoing message with the right structured email and with the right attachment. The only thing I have to do for this particular task was to confirm the final message. And once I do that, that was the only human intervention that I needed for this particular task. So that concludes some of the cool features that we wanted to show for our sales order agent.
Thank you very much, Kazim. In these demos, we demonstrated some of the key capabilities that many of you ask us to add to the sales order agent to make it more capable, make it more autonomous, and more tailored to your business. You've seen how the sales order agent can now process email attachments of different kinds. It can use the very powerful feature of capable to promise to set the expected shipping date for your items. It can create sales orders directly from the email request, skipping the unnecessary steps of going through the quote, if that is required by your business. You can even interact with it using natural language instructions. All of these capabilities should help your business become much more efficient with the sales order agent. We do hope that you will find these capabilities useful and start using sales order agent to help scale your business. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.